This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code SOUTHGATE to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
There's a thin line between heroism and madness.
Here the line fades to nothing at all. This is a world of Capes and Lunatics.
And nothing is off limits.
Hello, welcome to Capes and Lunatics, episode 87. What's going on? I don't know. No one knows.
Aren't you in charge of this?
Yes! I'm building dramatic. I'm building dramatic effect, Charlie Esser. So
okay.
Let's get into it. Capes and Lunatics starts right now. That's right. You gotta pretend, Charlie. I am Phil, and joining me, as always, is, well, you already heard Charlie Esser.
The professor.
And giggling evilly in the background is...
Hey, it's Lilith Hellfire.
Alright, so... let's jump into it.
Saturday morning classic.
I didn't see a lot of news this week, but... like in TV... well, let's get to this. Charlie, did you watch Orville this week?
Of course I watched Orville this week.
The question is, did he live tweet Orville this week?
No. See, the thing is that Thursdays at 8 is when me and Maz can record the final episode of the Ironcast and the first episode of the second season of The Devil You Know, which covers the third season of Daredevil. So I'm never quite sure how to, write those down, because is this The Devil You Know Season 2, Episode 1, or is it Devil You Know covering Season 3, Episode 1? So, anyway, but, The Devil You Know.
So we lost a member of the crew? They're gone?
Yeah, well, you know what? They've actually did that, earlier. They did that last season. They lost the chief engineer.
Yeah.
What really interests me is Patrick Warburton going to stay on?
Yes.
As the double esophagus guy, which is a lot of makeup for a character that's going to be in the series that much.
Or I just wonder if that's just going to be like a gag where it's somebody different every week or something. Because, Lilith, you didn't watch it, did you?
I'm out.
Alara's gone.
He's out. That's fine. Yeah. But this was a really good episode.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
We got her family, her father played by Robert Picardo, and then
yes, Robert Picardo.
And then that spoilers, the bad guy of the episode played by what's his name? Dr. Phlox from Enterprise.
Oh, that was okay.
Yeah.
Again, the makeup, it just throws you. Oh, and
so we got two Star Trek doctors in this episode.
Yes, Doctor versus Doctor, and
yeah.
Yes. And Dr. Phlox is an anti-vaxxer. So, yeah. Well, actually, technically, his son was an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
And you know what? Here's one of these great aspects of the Orville that I love, is how it shows how this monomaniacal culture can lead to real tragedy. And you never think about this when it's the warlike cultures, because, Worf is trying to commit suicide every 3 weeks for dishonor, and they've always got to talk him out of it. It's like, no, you don't have to commit suicide. And here you have the situation where a guy puts out his anti-vax storyline in the future.
Alara's father proved it's false, and the guy killed himself, and then the parents come seeking revenge, yeah.
Yeah, and at first I thought it was going to be a Funny Games reference, and it kind of is. It kind of is a Funny Games aspect of it. Anyone who remembers the film Funny Games, like weird avant-garde German cinema of serial killers.
All I know is Robert Picardo.
Or the terrible American remake, Shot for Shot, but somehow ends up being worse.
Robert Picardo took some damage. I mean, he definitely wasn't a hologram this time.
Yeah, no, because he has to serve the boiling soup with his hands, and It's really a.
The Orville is just Family Guy repackaged.
It's not Family Guy at all.
It's Family Guy repackaged.
It got
mind.
Lilith. It got kind of dark. I mean,
Family Guy gets dark. Y'all must not know.
No.
I mean, the bad guy makes Robert Picardo put his hand in a pot of boiling water.
Okay, so it's South Park.
Did he
eat his own dad?
No, the difference is, Lilith, those shows lack consequences. This is a show about the consequences of people's actions and lives and choices we make. And I also loved the reference to microgravity, that there's a negativity to microgravity, because it's a great... So this is a long-standing sci-fi trope. In fact, they did a great Buck Rogers in the 25th Century episode with, I believe that was the one with, not Emmanuel Lewis, guy who played Arnold Drummond, getting his name. Gary Coleman as the super genius also from the 20th century trying to get captured. Or it was one of the ones with the blonde, but they have all these mercenaries, and they have the guy who comes in, who's from the microgravity world, and of course, he is incredibly superhumanly strong, but of course he's very weak on his own home planet. So I had two choices. I could either stay on my home world and be a librarian, or I could go into the world and every other planet and just be this incredible superpowered mercenary. And but of course the problem is that, as with our astronauts who live in microgravity for prolonged periods of time, they start to experience muscle and bone density decay. Like
Alara was after being on the Orville for so long, so that's why she had to go back to her home planet, and she was most of the episode rolling around like all Professor X hover chair.
Yeah, and I got to be honest with you, there were moments in that where I was thinking, I bet you her father is doing something to the chair to keep her sick. I thought it was going to be a Munchausen syndrome kind of thing, because of course they hate the military, so they do have a police force on their planet, so it's something they look down upon, but it's still something that they know they have to have. And I'm sure we'll get Alara back eventually, and we'll find out that
time travel.
No, she's still alive. She's still alive.
Yeah, she just left. Yeah.
She got healed, but then she decided, because she actually connected with her father, because she explained to her father about how you don't have to always be just a gigantic jerk all the time.
Well, I mean, of course, you saw it coming. She saves her family, so of course, first they were down on her being a Union officer, and then they're just like, "Oh, you saved our lives."
Well, no. Well, the key point of that scene is this idea that she makes this point that all she ever wanted her father to say was, "You can do it,"
or "I'm proud of you." Yeah.
No, but also specifically, "You can do it." I have faith that you can do it, because apparently Alara was slow. She learns differently, as we say.
Yeah.
And so it's a hyper intellectual culture, and here you have someone who learns differently. And so because she doesn't get those grades, because she's not, hitting those Tiger Mom marks, she's really she gets put down as being slow, and her father, instead of encouraging her, like, we know you can do it, we know you can do anything, we know you can put your mind to it, you might have to work harder, but you can still do it, basically says, well, you're slow, and you need the help and the care, and reiterates this. And then when Robert Picardo was injured, and, Alara says, I need you to, because, of course, the captain gets in danger, because which, honestly, the minute I saw that they had that time thing.
Oh, yeah, I knew that was going to be something.
Yeah, and it was funny because they didn't use it when he just gets back on. It's like, oh, that was great. But then they come back to it, and actually it's the energy readout, and we realize that once the suit is shorted out, it's like, now there's like 3 minutes left, and we get our little countdown.
Because their planet has such high gravity, all the humans had to, if they got out of the ship, they had to wear, like, a gravity shield suit, and Seth MacFarlane got his legs broken because his started giving out.
Yes, but it was, and then what she says is, her father says, I can't do it. I'm weak, I'm damaged from this guy beating me up. And she says, I know you can do it. She gives him that strength. And she finally connects with her father on that, because now that he can't do something, he understands how important it is to have that person say, I believe in you. And so then he actually does save the captain, and they do kill the bad guys, straight up murder those guys, man. Because those phasers weren't set to stun.
But yeah, she just leaves, so she could come back at any time. But I was looking online, I didn't see any official statement, but I saw people were saying she's doing other stuff. So I don't know if she probably left on her own. So. Yeah.
But like I said,
she's one of those people that can't get along with Seth MacFarlane. There's plenty.
Oh,
well, I mean that's a possibility. Yeah, well, his own sister got cut.
Well, you see how Meg gets treated and how Haley gets treated. He's got an issue with his sister, so no, seriously.
Yeah, but
or is it just the curse of like security officers on these? Space shows. Tasha are.
Well, you know what? Not for nothing. Here's one thing I will say is that, and this is something I kind of feel there is this aspect of, and again, I only know military from reading other people's accounts of the military. Never been in the military myself. Although I have read John Roddenberry's talk about, because of course he based Star Trek off of his time on an aircraft. Gene Roddenberry. Sorry, Roddenberry. That he based it off his time working on the ship and sort of imagined this future thing. And the reality is that, well, it's great to do the adventure stories most of the time is this downtime, and that there is all this transferring out, and that there's a whole crew aside from the core group you see. You know, I was actually surprised Bortus wasn't. I forget what. I don't know what Bortus's actual position is. One of these weird things. I don't really know what Bortus's position is, but I'm kind of interested to see if Bortus gets the promotion, because of course Patrick Warburton was meant to be a temporary replacement. They may make him permanent, or he did get keyed into earlier episodes or into the trailers. Although I will say this, man, I don't know what it is, but the minute I saw that character underneath all that makeup, I said, "Oh, it's Patrick Warburton."
Who has two esophaguses, and one looks like an elephant's trunk that connects right to his stomach.
Yes, so he's got the one down and the one up.
So we can pound the food, man. Yeah, the food. Yeah. He was just like Surfer Bro Lil. If he comes on board, he's like, this ship is sick, man. Yeah,
he was great. He's like a cross between an elephant and a koala. He's wonderful. But you know, it's Patrick Warburton, so you know he's going to be that guy. And then the second you need him to be the security chief, he's going to be totally, BA. Because that's how it is. Because the whole thing about being in the Union, man, you don't judge a book by its cover. And they're a very laid back species, man. But they're clearly somehow related to elephants, because you also see that he's only eating roughage. So, so he probably's got a lot of power behind him, and will, kick your butt as need be.
Yeah.
And Isaac, although Isaac's in here, it wasn't as central to this episode as it was in the first two, but still, Isaac continues as a character who I really enjoy. Although I am waiting for him to actually betray them all, because the alien race that he's a part of is actually just sent him there to gather intelligence.
He's Data.
A lack of emotions. What?
He's Data. We're supposed to learn more of humanity through him.
Well, yes, but why? But the thing is Data was just Data learning humanity just because it was just a side project. This is a guy who's from his own species coming to this species, and we know this is like this super intelligent robot species. So there's going to be a moment where it comes back to like, well, so what have you learned of these creatures, and how easy are they to conquer? And it'll probably, it'll probably be this great episode where it's like, where it's basically them on trial, and he basically says, look, I know we want to conquer them. I will say that they're pretty crazily ingenious, and I would not doubt that that if we try to conquer them, they will not defeat us, of course, but they will make it very difficult to complete our tasks, and that'll be the thing. That, I'm waiting for Isaac's big reveal as a villain, but it's great so far. And, and it's, Lilith, you don't have to watch every show. You don't have to defend not watching every show. If you don't like Orville, that's great. I don't like
Orville. I've said it. It's fine.
That's fine.
I gave it a season, and it's just not my cup of tea.
Lilith, you guys talk DC all the time. I don't read a lot of DC. And I often dislike DC. So
speaking of DC, Lilith, did you finish
I did.
Young Justice?
The next 3 episodes of Young Justice Outsiders. Yeah. They're I take back. Well, no, I don't take back what I said about the first 3 episodes. They're finally getting into it. It's getting interesting, and they're dropping like all kinds of crazy stuff is going on. Like, oh my god,
That end of
I need this. We needed this.
the end of episode 6. Spoilers. Ra's al Ghul has a guy in red who's obviously been brainwashed or something, who seemed to recognize Dick Grayson when Nightwing showed up. So
I feel like we're getting something with Jason
and then
the Outlaws somewhere or something. There's too many hints all around the whole DC universe.
And then the thing that made the big headlines: Talia comes out with a baby.
Oh,
not mine.
is this Green Arrow's baby?
No, it's or
is it Jimmy Olsen's baby?
Yes.
No, there was no red hair. No, Lilith.
Sometimes it takes a while for gingers to get into the red hair.
Lilith, I was thinking about it. What if it's not Bruce's baby? What if it is like a Damian, but what if it's not Bruce's? I mean,
what if it's Deathstroke's?
No. Think about it. Obviously, they have it looks like they have Jason Todd there.
No, they wouldn't do that.
You don't think?
I mean, it is a different Earth with a different, but I don't think they would do that. I think
not for nothing.
It's not a baby. It's going to be a bat baby. That's a real bat baby.
Yeah, it's not like Ra's al Ghul is going to breed his daughter with a Robin, and a replacement Robin at that.
Well, I don't know. Jason has his own unique kind of psychoses that I could see Ra's maybe wanting to. I don't know. Like there is a thing about it that I could see.
Like in the beginning of 52, didn't they paint it where, like, you know, they used the Lazarus, you know, Ra's used the Lazarus pit to bring Jason back, and then, I don't know, I don't think anything happened between Jason and Talia, but then it seemed like she was kind of protective of him, and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There are points to it where it's just like, that would be interesting because this is a completely different Earth based on, you know, slightly different characters, so...
And don't say Ra's al Ghul wouldn't breed his daughter a certain...
He took over her body that one time.
No, Lilith, you read those first couple issues of Azrael in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
He was going to give Talia to Jean Paul Valley, so I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ra's isn't the best dad. Let's just put it that way.
That's true. Although
Arrow did get that point down about Ra's al Ghul. He is a terrible father.
Yes. Well, but as I always understood it, he was trying to, like, find a good heir, you know?
Because a woman wasn't good enough. A terrible father.
Yes, well, we understand that. But basically, it's like, she's so good if only she had a penis. I know what's finding good penis inside of her.
Hey, he's very, 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 very old-fashioned. That comes from being several hundred years old.
No, it doesn't. Because,
or thousand.
You know what? Yeah,
if you don't adapt to the times.
Well, it's not even adapting to the times. People actually weren't all jerks in ancient times. Just like the kings.
I don't believe it. Sorry.
But some were.
Well, some were, but it's not like that's an excuse. Not for nothing, you can find passages in the Bible about, you know, when a stranger is in your land, you treat them with respect and kindness. And it's like, this was thousands of years ago, this idea of, you know, you treat people as human beings and with respect. And, you know,
and
it exists.
It never quite caught on.
It never caught on, but I'm just saying people understood. Intelligent people always understood humanity as a universal brotherhood, or sisterhood, or familyhood.
But also, you had major religions who also said women were lesser than men too, and
I'm sure that Ra's al Ghul is doing it because the Pope said so.
Really not the Pope, but
no, Ra's al Ghul is being a sexist prick because he is a sexist prick, and it just shows his lack of intelligence. And that's what my point is that it shows a lack of intelligence or wisdom. And
I mean, he has to have somewhat of a lack of intelligence, because think about it, he's, several hundred or 1,000 years old, and yet...
And plus the Lazarus Pit does things to you.
And, the Lazarus Pit does drive you a little nutty, too, but, he can't be that bright. Bruce Wayne beats him every time, and, you know, you would think this immortal should be able to easily beat Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, but even...
Thank God, bro! Deal with it!
Yeah.
I have no problem.
You know, just being alive for a long time doesn't mean, especially if you're not even being alive for a long time, you're just being resurrected. It's not like just by his wits he's managed to survive this long. It's like, no, he found magic get out of death free card juice, and so he doesn't have to die. Just like the guy who got hit by the meteor. You know,
Vandal Savage, yeah.
Yeah, Vandal Savage. Although Vandal Savage, you know, I mean, he's still a bad father, but he treats his daughter with a lot more respect than I think.
And Vandal Savage was literally a caveman.
Literally a caveman, yeah. Like, actually, I think he's actually supposed to be of Cro-Magnon. I think he's not actually supposed to be a human. If I recall correctly. I could be wrong. They may retcon that back and forth. But, yeah, no. Or possibly even a Neanderthal, who also had bigger brains than humans. So...
if you're not watching Young Justice, like, you need to be watching Young Justice. However you need to watch Young Justice. I'll just leave that there and
Okay.
I mean, for me, $8.99. I don't have kids. I have expendable income, so $8.99 a month's nothing to me. Like, I've got Spotify, Hulu, Pandora, all that. So it's just like, whatever.
Didn't you get DC Universe gifted to you?
I did. I would still pay it though. Like, at first I was kind of like, but then I started looking around, and for me, as a DC fan, there's a lot of content, because, like, a lot of the old stuff, like, a lot of the old TV shows that maybe I don't feel like digging out my DVDs. And it's just there.
And Doom Patrol, doesn't it start in February? So are they going to have Young Justice and Doom Patrol for a little bit at the same time?
I feel like yes. But I'm not excited about Doom Patrol.
Yeah, because, I mean, Young Justice, they're doing, it's 26, I think I looked, I think
but
it's 26.
But they're going to take a break after the 13, though.
Oh, are they? Because I saw the season's 26, but yeah, so, and they're doing 3 a week, so.
Yeah, so after 13, there's probably going to be a break where Doom Patrol can just go through, and then they'll pick back up. Because I don't think they want to, I think they want people to focus on one particular set of content at a time until they have a bigger catalog,
Yeah. I gotta say, I think DC has to go to a free 30-day trial. Because I think the 7-day trial, it just makes you very cognizant. No, here's what I'm saying. The 7-day trial makes you really cognizant of when you're going to start getting charged. So, if you don't get the chance to watch all the content you want in that 7 days, you think, well, I just got to cancel it. That's what happened to me.
Oh, 30-day trial, you forget.
Yeah, well, on a 30-day trial, not only do you forget, but you might actually have time to look for other things. Because they're saying, well, we'll do a 7-day trial because we don't want people just watching one show and then canceling. But obviously, if I'm just there for one show, I'll watch that in 7 days, too. Because I'll wait till the whole series is done. I'll watch it for 7 days. I'll say, yep, now I'm done. And I watched it for free. But if you do a 30-day trial, then suddenly I got, what else is on here? Like, they've got Superman 3. They've got the old,
Superman 3.
Best one ever. Superman 3. Or they've got the old Batman serials, or whatever they have on there, They have stuff that is interesting and neat that I might want to watch that is going to be DC related, But I didn't have time for that because I only have a week. And not for nothing, I work 5 days a week, and I work in New York, so there's a lot of time that gets enveloped in that. Plus, I got all my other regular TV watching to do. I'm not a fancy man. I'm a busy man. I got a lot of things I got to do. All over. I am big all over, yes. Okay. Jeez. Just filling time, Phil.
Hey!
What else was on TV? Gotham?
Well, yeah. Oh. Yeah. I was going to say, Lilith and I discussed that show last night. Charlie, did you see it?
I did see it. I got to even live tweet one thing about it.
I know. You live tweeted I was right. I know.
Yeah, Phil and Perich was right. Phil was right.
I knew they were going to go. I know 12 episode last season. I knew they were going to go the quickest, easiest route, and they wanted to tie their characters in. So I'm like, it's going to be Ivy.
Yeah,
no one cares about Ivy. Ivy 3 at that.
Yeah, not for nothing though. Bruce is just such a sap. Like, no, I didn't do it. I was like, of course I killed them all because I'm freaking Poison Ivy and I'm an eco-terrorist. And,
like we were saying, I think I said, maybe he was just desperate for a cure for Selena, but also, like, teenage boy hormones. I mean, have you
gotta get her up and walking. Hell!
Yeah, no, I don't.
Plus, in her last incarnation, she was a little bit friendlier with Bruce and Selena, so maybe he thought.
Yeah. Well, whatever the situation, I'm just, and also I just, again, felt that it was kind of, when they get the root out of the ground and he goes, is that human blood? And it's like, and of course she sort of left off, but I'm just thinking, why would you even think it's human blood on the root? It's like, it wouldn't be human blood. It's some sort of red sap, clearly. Because it's not like human blood is going to just go through the tree into the root. That's not how plants work, Master Detective, Super Scientist.
It's magic!
When's the last time this kid went to school? Come on.
Yeah, honestly. Did he ever? I mean,
Silver St. Cloud? I think that's the last time we saw a school.
Yeah.
Wasn't some of the
that ended poorly, so.
In the earlier seasons, wasn't he getting homeschooled or something? I don't know.
No, he was at his
that's right. He did go to the fancy board. He did go to the fancy school. Yeah, because he beat up Tommy Elliott. Yeah.
During the summer break. Yeah, something.
That summer break has been really long.
Yeah.
Well, no, he did go to a school in Gotham. Yeah, then between one of the seasons, weren't they in Switzerland or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't know where
this Bruce won't be a master detective. Let's just put it to you that way.
Well, what we can say is he will be an autodidact.
Yes.
As most superheroes and supervillains are.
He'd be like, I need clues. Google.
No. Well, it's you can also get that in a library, Phil. You can read books or read it online.
Library. It's 2019, Charlie. Libraries are so 20th century, okay?
But this is also Gotham. They still have those there. So
are you sure? I don't think we ever been to a library in Gotham. I don't think they
What? I do, like, what was the thing with the ghost mom in that?
Ghost mom? That was a filler side plot that we don't ever have to revisit.
Oh, except that they dressed the kid like Damien, which I just thought was interesting. And actually, there is a DC villain who dresses like that. I can't remember his name, but he's one of the ones that
deals with... Are you talking about Clarion? The witch boy?
Yeah, Clarion, yes. Yeah, that's his name. Yeah, and I'm just thinking, because when I first was doing this, I'm thinking, wait, is this going to be, what's that old lady with Darkseid?
Oh, Granny Goodness?
First I was thinking, is this going to be a Granny Goodness thing? Does Granny Goodness come to Gotham because, well, this looks like a great place to recruit some Furies or something? And, I was wondering where they were going with this, and then they're like, and then you have the lights hypnotize you, and just like, there's something going on here that we're not even going to talk about.
Yeah, we're just going to keep moving.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of cool.
That's classic Gotham right there.
I love
a little side fun.
And I love Bullock at the end of that just saying, sorry, Jim, some people don't want to be saved. That's just like the cool, just like Bullock, I love Bullock just so much. Bullock's Law is just a great show.
Bullock's Bar, damn it.
Yeah, well, I would see Bullock's Bar. I would watch Bullock's Bar too, man. I would watch anything especially with Donald Logue. Donald Logue's Bullock redefines this character in such a great way. I wish it was more popular. Because this is the Bullock we want, need, and deserve.
I agree. I just want him to say, damn it, Jim, I'm a cop, not a social worker. One time.
You can say it. I can see that.
Yeah, and then, you have this...
Damn it, Jim.
You have such... And of course, the poor planning by the Bane group, the Bane gang. I don't know. That's what they're supposed to be. It's like, we're going to dig a tunnel. It's like, there's a river, and we didn't dig deep enough. And clearly none of you guys are structural engineers. Because the water's already coming through.
Lois brought that up last night.
Yeah, it's like, these guys, we need to lay off the smoke, okay?
Yeah, I was gonna say while they're getting high on their own supply, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. And of course, as we learned that Venom does not make you, Venom serum does not make you, bulletproof.
No, it's just.
And then you have the Dias de Muerte gang.
Yeah.
Oh, the White Skull.
Yeah, she was cool, man.
And then Shooty Babs in this case.
And then
bloodthirsty Babs. Yeah.
What I gotta ask, man, what kind of city is Gotham that you just have all-terrain armored vehicles with gun turrets on top?
No man's land.
A thing that was just already there. Because it's not like they're bringing stuff in. It's just like, nope, we just had those.
Well, to be fair, if they were in California, I could believe it because there's lots of people that collect really strange things, like old-timey, like, Hummers and, decommissioned, like, military equipment. How they get it, don't ask me. But yeah, it is a subculture for things like that. And I can see Gotham being one of those places.
And again, it's Gotham, yeah.
Well, but also this is Gotham, the island Gotham.
Yeah, but this is beforehand. I'm sure there were like weird collectors. Bruce is the only billionaire in Gotham.
And plus, at the end of the last season, wasn't the military trying to come in? So I wonder if, like, you see gangs shooting soldiers in the head, stealing Humvees and stuff.
Yeah, that didn't look like a military vehicle.
Well, and if you look at the cops, like they just have like the regular police cars. It just looks like they have.
They put some Mad Max Fury Road accessories.
Yeah, they put some bars on the car on the windshields and the
Yeah, I'm sure they've been building up. So
we got arrows too, and I'm like, damn it, just give me a better Green Arrow show then if we're gonna bring this up.
Well, not for nothing. That would actually be the smart thing to do if you have a limitation on guns, because arrows kill just as good. And in fact, arrows actually have certain advantages over
but you have to be skilled in it. You can't just pick up a bow and arrow and be good at it. That's the thing.
You can with a crossbow.
True, but they weren't using the crossbows. It didn't look
I thought they were using crossbows.
I have to go back and look. I don't think they were.
There's a reason why the Pope wrote that horrible diatribe against crossbows, because they did change, because it just mechanized the military. How are we ever supposed to be humans and have a crossbow? It's impossible. But yeah, no, the crossbow's a deadly, horrifying weapon that's really easy to use. Because not for nothing, you can even use, and that was like the real thing about the crossbow, is you could actually have an iron bow, which just gives you a weapon that can pierce armor. And if you have a steel-tipped arrow, that is actually going to go right through body plate, believe it or not. Because the reason why body plate actually works is because a bullet is small enough that, and the way it's designed, it actually flattens out against the body plate. But if something is long, this is why actually knives will go through body plate, because the knife has enough weight behind it to go through. And an arrow, being bigger and heavier than a bullet, will actually go through body plate. So, and that's why you see in their armored vehicles the arrows are just going right through. It's all about physics, man. And so, I don't know why anyone wants penguin bullet, except unless you want to fire a lot of them right away.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
They love a gun shootout in Gotham. That's their jam.
Jamie Jam. But all right, we got like 27 minutes left. I want to get to some comics.
Okay. Let's talk Captain Marvel.
Anyway, so.
Captain Marvel. I talked that with Kelly Thompson the other night.
Oh, yes.
And
imagine that.
And I asked her, and while it may not happen, and she didn't give me specifics, but while it may not happen in the West Coast Avengers book, she was hinting that we might be getting somewhere a Superior Spider-Man West Coast Avengers encounter somewhere in War of Realms. So.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. My big thing about Captain Marvel is I guess Rhodey's back. And did anyone mention that he's the third clone of Rhodey?
No.
It's just a weird thing to me, because sometimes, like, cloning is, like, this big, heavy issue, and I'm like, no, he's just a clone. That's fine.
They either don't play it like that in this universe, or they just don't bring it up, because are people going to be excited to be like, oh yeah, I want to read the adventures of the third clone of James Rhodes, or,
Or the fifth clone of Tony Stark, let's be honest here.
Exactly, yeah.
Or the 100th of Otto, because that's what I love about Otto, is he's a clone, he don't care. Otto is basically like, look, I am this person, I am my memories, I am this being, this is my body, I am who I am. If you want to say I'm not the real Otto Octavius, fine. That's your opinion. Your opinion means literally nothing, because I am Otto.
But like, I told Kelly I love this book just because, I love the writing, but I don't like it all the time. Green Lantern, Thor, they could be off in space or Asgard half the time, but I also like Earth half the time, where you get them punching villains in the face, which Kelly gave us.
Yes. Well, that's good. And not for nothing, you always want to stay near your home base.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nothing else and it's good to have that, and it's good to maintain that relationship on your home base so that when you can retreat, so you have a place to retreat to. You always want to make sure you have an area that goes out from your safe space. You don't want to be out there in the universe, like apparently Captain Marvel has been for the last 40 years, or 20 years, or 30 years, 20 years, I don't know. The 90s, I forget when they were.
A long time ago at this point.
Yeah. At this point, when she gets back, she's like, no, we don't know what a Captain Marvel is, And so she has no safe space on Earth. They may attack her in Avengers 4 Electric Boogaloo thinking, it's another Kree invasion!
Time travel.
That's the thing. Didn't I see an article somewhere where was it Sam Jackson saying, Captain Marvel's going to be able to time travel in the MCU? So
we're going to have to see what that all plays out as. I want to save this for super connectivity.
Okay,
go ahead and save it.
Well, we'll tease it. We'll tease it. Okay.
Yeah. Well, no. What he said was that basically the Tesseract.
Yeah.
And, this is important because actually I looked this up. The term Tesseract was actually coined in the 1880s. So it is not impossible that they could have referenced the Tesseract in World War II. Because I was sitting there saying, wait, they keep on calling it the Tesseract. Isn't that from A Wrinkle in Time? And then I thought, well, it has to be at least from 1940s relativity, and really it has to be post-war. It has to be 50s or 60s relativistic thinking. But no, actually, it's actually a mathematical term. But if you take if you take the idea of spatial time, the idea of structuring it as a tesseract does make sense. So it worked. I fact-checked it. You can call the tesseract a tesseract in the 1940s. It is not necessarily. It is. Yes, but I did do Google it.
Due diligence.
But speaking of universe-bending concepts, hey, guess what? I like the Bendis book this week. Young Justice #1.
Yes, that was a good book. I was really surprised that he's doing that book. But there's not a lot of I don't know. There's not a lot for him to mess up.
Well, yeah, it was a lot of setup.
Because he loves the talky dialogue, and it actually worked in this case for the issue. So,
well, you know what? If you can say one thing, he does do well with teenage characters.
Yeah,
in which the verbosity is quite appropriate. So he probably would have been a great guy. Has he ever done Spider-Man?
Well, he did Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. and he did Peter Parker in the Ultimate Universe. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Does the Ultimate Universe really count though? Because he did feel a little bit different.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But I would bet you he would do a great, just regular Spider-Man book. Just from all the stuff I've read of his, which is mostly Avengers stuff, which I always loved. I always loved his Avengers. And like I said, as Phil pointed out to me, my biggest anger at him is less about what he did, but his sort of save for it with the declaration that Tony isn't someone else's son, and then rather than making him, and actually as I think about it in more context, I actually say, well, you know what, I like the idea that he did. I just wish they hadn't hyped it as much.
Yeah.
So I think 90% of the time, what gets people mad about Bendis isn't what Bendis does. It's all the hype people put into Bendis' work. They don't let Bendis just be another writer. He's got to be the Brian Michael Bendis. And I think that hurts him more than actually... I think that actually hurts him more than actually just being a writer. Like, if it was just some writer writing Superman and decided to do that, you'd say, I don't really like the story he's doing. And you would just not read it, as Lilith, I'm sure, has. Which is what you should do. When you don't like what a writer does, you stop reading that book, and then you read another book that's good. And you don't necessarily hold it against the writer. They just had some bad ideas for that character.
But it's a $5 book, though, Phil. That was the only thing where I was just like, come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now!
It is, it's a little larger, but...
Slightly.
And,
the art is amazing, I will say, but I was just like, dude, a $5 book, and it's got Bendis out pushing it! You're pushing it with me.
Well, my thing is Bendis, now that he's writing Superman, does everything have to be Superman because it's set in Metropolis because, those characters from Gemworld are looking for Superman. And even like that, not in this one, but the other DC books, they had that preview for that Naomi book
Yeah.
And there was something with Superman and Mongol in part of that, I guess. So what? Everything Bendis writes now for DC, you have to at least mention Superman and Metropolis.
Probably, yeah.
Well, not for nothing. Metropolis is a major city.
But we have so many others too that aren't as crowded.
Well, but hey, New York is crowded too of superheroes.
And it was
universe. And it was like, they keep on putting everything in New York.
And that's why I love West Coast Avengers.
Well, yeah. Fair enough.
Out of that. Yeah.
And I mean, this book was like the kids getting together to fight this threat, and it's like it could have been any major city. It didn't have to be Metropolis, because even they showed at the end the Connor Kent Superboy was in like another dimension. He wasn't even there, so
yeah. I like that little twist. I thought it was a good story. I hope that he can keep that level up. Mm-hmm. But with so many other books, like it just like maybe this was a fluke. I hope it's not, because I think we need more Young Justice. That's all I'm saying. TV, maybe a TV show, like live action.
You know what's weird about Connor Kent? And maybe this has been mentioned before. He's like a mix of Superman and Lex Luthor's DNA.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My fantasy come to life, yes.
Yeah. I'm just saying, Luthor created him. That's got to be a lot of fan fiction. There's a lot of Freudian subtext in that. I just
it is, which is why we enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it sounds like a little Hellfire fanfic.
Oh, yeah. Believe me, yes. The only Superboy that I actually do like, honestly. All the other Superboys, except for Little John.
Oh.
What about the TV show?
Fight me, nerd.
Where he's in college? I feel like that's not really Superboy, though. They couldn't say Superman at the time, because...
Well, it starts with them in high school, doesn't it? Because him and Lex become friends, start off.
I thought it was college. It's been a while. I thought it was all college.
Yeah,
what, Smallville?
Yeah.
Superboy.
No, Superboy. Philip, come on. Don't
Tyler's gonna disown you, Philip.
I didn't hear what you said.
He's not paying attention. But the best...
Yeah, sorry. No, I'm sorry.
The best DC book is Adventures of Super Sons, though. I have to say.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
That was really good. Surprisingly, shockingly good.
Isn't that another Bendis book?
No.
No, it's not. Okay.
We got them away from the grips of him, but I didn't really have a lot of high hopes for this particular issue, but it was good.
Oh yeah, them on that alien planet and
yeah,
getting captured. Who's that? Tommy Tomorrow.
I know. I was just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But Peter, he changed my mind, so I was just like, okay.
But now you skipped over. You skipped over the big thing and what? No, go ahead.
I was going to say, they have a character named Tom Tomorrow.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay. Oh well, because no, there's a political satirist by that name.
Tommy
I'm
Tomorrow.
wondering if that's a reference to him. Oh, that's Tommy Tomorrow.
Yes.
I doubt it. I don't know, but with Peter, you never know.
Okay. I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
Does he have a talking penguin as a sidekick? If so, then maybe.
I didn't mean to step on you, Phil. You wanted to talk about the big thing?
I like.
From Young Justice. Yeah. What did you think that they said there's been 7? Basically, Bendis making every crisis canon.
I think that was an editorial note, not necessarily his idea, but it's kind of weird, and I think you can't have your cake and eat it too, especially when you're constantly refreshing and rebooting. Like, that's just not how it works. That's not the point of doing that.
Yeah, I know,
but
I don't know. DC
just pick a canon, Silver Age preferably, and stick with it. Okay? All that I'm going to say.
No, Lilith, you have to understand that. So, okay, and, as of course DC does whatever Marvel does first. Marvel established this in the most recent complete this universe, because now we're on the 6th universe.
Or 7.
That's our MacGuffin molecule. Blue Marvel used to only have 5 sides. 6 they're crazy. But the fact I don't want to say this is canon, the crisis is canon. The crisis occurred, the universe reboots. But still, that other universe doesn't cease to exist. Those books don't stop to exist. You know, when you talk about the past and forward in time, all that stuff still exists, but now there's something also new. So acting like it doesn't
then don't pretend like it
is kind of
doesn't for
ridiculous.
freaking 15 years, 15, 20, 30 years, and then all of a sudden you want it to
Well-
when it's convenient for you. This is the point that I'm
No, it doesn't exist in this universe, but this universe lives in a greater multiverse and omniverse where it does exist.
Well, I just think
So when
they're
you
sick.
have that omniverse, you know, anything can happen.
I just think they're getting
The
sick
old
of.
Great Temple Superman bat.
They're sick of getting the rap, you know, that they reboot every 10 to 20
Yeah.
years, and so
Not
they're
even
like,
that. It was like every 6 years or 7
Well,
years.
yeah,
whatever it was. It was getting ridiculous. Well, you know, it is what it is, but the damage is done. But thanks.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, thanks.
ah! All right.
You gotta, you know, and not for nothing. Let's just say it here. AT&T's in charge now. They may well be. They bought it. They own it.
Yeah, that
as
doesn't
much as
necessarily
Kenny
mean
Parking
they're in
was in-
charge, though. That just
Yeah,
means
well,
they
you know,
own it. They have
it may
no
be as
thoughts
much
about
as-
it. Otherwise, they would get
Yeah.
rid of Dan
Well-
Dino.
Well, you know what? They may have. Well, let me put it to you this way. I mean, they may have no active thoughts, but there may be someone at AT&T who says, you know, we do need to have structured canon in the same way that when Disney bought stuff, they told everyone, look, you can't just have a million different canons and have you can't have people say, well, that's not canon if you don't have a canon. You have to have a canon. Just pick what you want for your canon, and then say it's
Star
canon.
Wars. Still bitter.
Yeah, well, that's
Hashtag still bitter.
well, yeah, well, you know what, Lilith, you're only bitter because what you wanted to be canon didn't get to be canon, and probably canon was
Actually,
the
there's
Dark
only
Horse
Star Wars
canon.
and no
happens
extended universe.
Pick your cannon.
There's only 3 Star Wars movies. Fight me! Everything else is garbage. There, I said what needed to be said.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I think I'm just going to set aside a couple minutes
But, you
every,
know, but-
every week for Charlie to go off on Alan Moore and you to go off on Dan.
You know what? You can watch.
DC needs to be saved from his clutches. I'm
I got
sorry.
nothing bad to say about Alan Moore this week. Oh, actually, wait.
Dun,
no,
dun,
Alan
dun.
Moore.
We don't have time. Oh, best Marvel
okay, we don't
book.
have time. We'll save it for Super.
Yeah.
Best Marvel book was Unbeatable Squirrel Girl number 40.
Oh, yeah?
Oh,
Yes! Have you not been reading this book, Charlie? It is going down in Squirrel Girl,
No.
okay? She's
Okay,
got
I
the
am
squirrels,
sadly
she's
not-
fighting Iron Man, she is just like all over the place.
she's fighting Iron Man, but he's her best friend. Well, not her best friend, but
Exactly!
she knows
Like,
him.
it's crazy. Squirrel Girl has been crazy for like the last 5 issues, and the artwork was so good. And this was kind of like a coming back down to earth, catching up with like actual Squirrel Girl issue. It was just really good. You need to, if you haven't been reading Squirrel Girl, pick it up.
Let me just put it to you that way.
I will have to pick it up. You know what? I just got paid. I'm going to the comic book store later on today. I'm going to get all my Hawk comic books out and yeah, all those that are in store. You know, because I always buy my pull, man. If you pull, you buy. A pull is not I'll see it when you pull it for me. It's like, no, you pull, you buy. If you do not pull and buy, you are a horrible human being, and you will be tortured in the afterlife for that. I don't know how. I'm just saying that is like the worst thing you can do to a small businessman is saying, pull this off yourself so you can't sell it, and then I'm going to decide if I'm actually going to buy it. You make a person hold that much inventory for you, you buy it. Especially a comic book store owner who is, you know, even if they're doing well, comic book stores are a niche market, and you gotta have respect for that. They're going to give you respect as a customer, but you got to respect them as a businessman too. That's my opinion.
But I must disagree with my learned colleague Lilith Hellfire. The best Marvel book this week was Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man #1.
It's my third pick because right behind Squirrel Girl was Miles Morales #2, and then Friendly
was good,
Neighborhood
too.
Spider-Man was #3.
Yeah, Miles
So,
Morales.
okay.
Miles Morales was good. He teamed up with the Rhino, so
Yeah, I love
Which
it.
Rhino?
the Rhino,
Which Rhino?
the Rhino.
The original?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So now another book I have to buy.
Yes.
I love original Rhino.
Well,
He's
you know
my
where you can
favorite
get it.
character. Yes.
Yeah, but
I will.
no, Friendly Neighborhood was good.
Yeah.
I like the main story. I think Peter Parker was written the way he should be most of the time in that. It was Spider-Man helping people, then we get the kidnapping at Peter's apartment. But everything but the backup story is what got the headlines this week.
Yeah.
As Peter story? Well, as Peter and Mary Jane seem to be getting closer and closer again because they had a romantic meal on, what was that, top of the Empire State Building?
Mm-hmm.
Phil thinks they're erasing.
The internet thought that it seems as Peter and Mary Jane are getting closer and closer, it's revealed Aunt May, spoiler alert, has cancer.
Oh well.
So is the
She's 197. You know, not for nothing. Here's the thing about cancer.
We'll all get it eventually if we live long enough.
Yeah, if you live long enough, eventually your body just says, we can't replicate cells this much anymore. Okay? We really expected a saber-toothed tiger to take us out like 30 years ago. Quite frankly. Honestly, for some people, it's like we thought the saber-toothed tiger would have gotten us. Where are the saber-toothed tigers? We ate them.
It's Mephisto. The marriage is coming back. Fight me, nerds.
Well, I mean,
that's what
they
the
may get
videos
married
want.
again.
What?
Well, yeah.
That one book did really good numbers, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. No, I mean, the fans definitely... Here's the thing. We have a Spider-Man for young kids who want a Spider-Man. His name is Miles Morales.
Exactly.
You know, we have a Spider-Man who can be for us older people, like you, Lilith, and like Phil.
Yeah, his name's Ben Riley, and he's dead.
He's not dead.
Whose life has come to a point where you have a different set of problems than a high schooler.
Exactly.
You know,
I was gonna say
you want. Yeah.
There you go. Miles Morales is the young Spider-Man, and then if you want a single Spider-Man, you got Otto Octavius, you got Ben Riley, and and if you want a married Spider-Man, you got Peter. You know, exactly.
And then if you want, if you're a girl and you want a Spider-Man, you just need Ms. Marvel. Oh, I was going to say
Spider-Ghost. Excuse me.
Okay.
Spider.
Is she still in high school? No, is she still in... Well, actually, I was going to say, if you're a teenager... I did say teenage, didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she still in high school?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you got 2 books. What do you want, ladies? You got 2 books.
We want all the books!
And Spider-Woman was in Captain Marvel, so...
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, wait, Spider-Woman. Wait, which Spider... Oh, okay.
Jessica Drew was in Captain Marvel.
Oh, Jessica Drew. I like Jessica Drew.
Because her
I have liked Jessica
friends.
Drew ever since the Spider-Woman cartoon. Remember the Spider-Woman cartoon? You're too young. But yes, I liked the Spider-Woman cartoon. It was very cool.
Lilith kid a minute after you call her old.
I don't care. I'm happy to be old. I love to be a curmudgeon. I'm making a solid effort to stay in more this year. So,
go.
As compared to last year?
Yeah, last 6 months of last year. Woof. That's enough people schmoozing.
That was the dating marathon, so.
Yeah.
Still people.
And last year she also switched countries. Okay, you have to go outside to switch countries. You know.
No. You order one of those big containers. You walk in, you have them set right at your front door. You walk in, they throw it on the truck, they ship it to Canada.
Yeah, I don't think that's how you want to travel, though. Yeah, only if you're a villain in a DC universe that you want to travel.
Because there's no toilet.
She's small. She doesn't need a lot of leg room.
True.
She still needs a toilet. Otherwise, she'll turn.
I can hold her for 36 hours. But I've done it once. I could do it again.
Little Hellfire and her super bladder.
That is my superpower, actually. Yeah.
You know, it's not the bladder that's the problem.
Oh,
it's not the bladder that's the problem. I'm just saying.
The colon, everything.
Yeah. Not for nothing. You can do drips and drabs and it'll all evaporate.
Moving on. Let's mention Domino.
Oh, Domino.
Domino. How did that? I like that she saved Longshot. And I didn't finish it, so if Longshot dies at the end, I'll be very sad.
And then, so is this the last issue of the solo? Because they're going to that Hot Shots team book or whatever?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay. But there's actually a weird thing in this that kind of like, that ties into Avengers. That was a little weird to me. Not in this book, but in the previous Domino with Morbius and Avengers. But we'll get to that in Super Connectivity. But yeah, so tell me about Domino.
4 minutes.
Okay, like, I thought that it was way too much going on. This felt like the end of Agent X at this point. Like, it was just like a lot of things going on and like trying to wrap everything up in a nice little bow so that they can move on to the next.
I was going to say, you really don't have to wrap it up, though, because they are getting that team book. So.
But yeah, like the solo narrative they're trying to...
Yeah.
Although it wasn't really a solo narrative, per se, because she always had her team for most of it. But it was just something that was kind of off about it, so I don't know if they, like, changed it down all of a sudden. Like I said, it's real Agent X feeling to it.
Well, that's why I was like, why are they getting into this team book? Because she kind of had a team the whole time, but I guess they're making the team bigger.
Editorial mandates. They can be the death of a book.
Yeah, but doesn't, at this point, after at least Deadpool 2, doesn't the name Domino carry more weight than Hot Shots?
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I guess maybe if there's an argument to be made, it is that at times people, and this may be just a weird thing, and it's kind of weird because you realize these are all characters who exist in the writer's head. Maybe there's this idea that you want it to have a broader group of characters to be recognized, that if it's more than one person's story. So, for example, if you want to tell a Diamondback story, and it's like, wow, all we're doing is telling Diamondback stories. I thought this was Domino's book. People know it's Domino's book. It's Hot Shots. And not for nothing, and let's be blatantly honest here, now we have another brand to market. We can say, well, we're going to do a Hot Shots series. We're going to do a Hot Shots TV show. We're going to do a Hot Shots cartoon. Because even though Domino may be known and popular at the moment, there are still people who don't know her. And if you're going to be dealing with a blank quantity anyway, when you tie to a single character, it limits the stories you can tell. But if you go to a team book, suddenly you can tell dozens of stories. Like the Orville. Yeah, exactly. You can tell a doctor story, you can tell a security officer story, you can tell a chief engineer story. And when you reboot it, it could be Hot Shots Part 2. Yes. And, I just, hope at some point Connie Ferrari and Diamondback hook up and can talk about how hard it is to date after you date Captain America. It was in Great Lakes Avengers, man. And that's canon now.
All right.
It's like, he was Captain America. It's hard to top.
If anybody cares, Archie Meets Batman #6 is out too. Just gonna leave that there for you.
Okay.
Oh.
It almost sounded like you. I know you said meat, but it almost sounded like you said Archie beats Batman.
Phrasing.
Hell. All right.
He's a young lad with red hair,
Spoilers.
All right, our time's almost up, so let's get out of here. Check out Super Connectivity for you heard it teased here. Check out our more in-depth commentary on some stuff. But until then, Charlie Esser, where can people?
Yes, where someone isn't keeping us to a time clock.
Well, oh no, you're gonna be on time.
You can always find me writing to me. Oh, I'm on time clock too. Oh,
I'm under orders
because I usually just talk.
You have an hour. You have an hour.
Following orders. Yeah, well, that's twice what I normally do, so that's great. If you'd like to follow me on the Twitters at Charlie Esser, that's CharlieEsser with the 2 E's in the middle for quality. Ping. And of course, write to me the old-fashioned email with remarks and possible instead at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. Phil, we're on a timeline. I can't wait for you to find a button. Lilith, go!
If you nerds want to fight me on Twitter, find me at Love Hellfire, where I'm making deep thoughts about the Arrowverse, apparently. If you want to hang out with me on the ground, at Love Hellfire 86. If you want to talk to Big Boo Boy Scout and or Smallville, at Save Me Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and or Instagram.
And send us your thoughts on all these TV shows or comic books, like The Flash is returning this week. Punisher Season 2 starts Friday. So email us capesandlunatics@gmail.com, facebook.com/capesandlunatics, @capeslunatics on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram, Capes and Lunatics, and the voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES.
I'm too drunk for this.
Real quick here, for a minute there, when you said the big blue Boy Scout, I thought you were talking about Power Girl because either our connection is bad or my headphones are bad. So they said the big...
Yeah.
Other word would be Boy Scout.
Yeah, blue sounded different to me too. So.
Yeah, so there you go. I think it was so maybe Love just is, she's you gotta work on your, I don't know what, but yes.
Blue.
Well, you're talking too fast.
All right.
Red leather shoe.
All right, talking about blue and talking about blue and talking about boobs for another week. We have been the Capes.
Ampersand. That's my line.
Lunatics. Oh no. Oh no.
I forgot it was here.
I stand by boob windows and long boxes all day, every day, though. So yes.